Taming Lightning is supported by the Pittsburgh Glass Center, who has encouraged my exploration, research, and development of a space for plasma and neon sculpture. The Pittsburgh Glass Center is a nonprofit, public access school, gallery, and state-of-the-art glass studio dedicated to teaching, creating, and promoting glass art. Glass art. We teach it, we create it, we promote it. We support those who make it. A quick update of the workshops offered at PGC this summer. In light of the COVID-19 pandemic, expect cancellations or rescheduling of workshops from here on out. At the release of this episode, the plasma class taught by Ed Kirshner, Plasma Vessels Using Glass Solder, has been canceled and rescheduled for summer 2021. And the August Hot Shop class with Patrick Collentine, It's All About the Light, is still running with 4 seats remaining. There are bound to be new updates as things progress. With this in mind, please hold off on booking your flights and hotels and keep your eyes peeled for updates by visiting the website. For more information, please check us out on the web at www.pittsburghglasscenter.org or call our studio at 412-365-2145. Taming Lightning is affiliated with the Plasma Art Alliance. Their mission is to promote illuminated plasma and glass as a sculptural art medium, foster public awareness of this art form through exhibitions, conferences, and educational outreach, and support the exchange of information related to techniques and technologies essential to the advancement of the field. PAA will serve the growing interest of this art for the mutual benefit of artists, enthusiasts, and patrons. If you're interested and would like to join, please check us out on the web at www.plasmaartalliance.com. I'd like to mention a support option for Taming Lightning, which is Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/taminglightning. With this, you're basically donating or giving a tip at the cost of a $3 cup of coffee, based on how you think I'm doing, and if you like the project, it's nice and supported. Your donation goes directly to the podcast for means of assisting with audio equipment upgrades, billing or hosting, software and services used in processing the audio, and future travel and professional content. You are by no means obligated to donate, but any support, including commenting and sharing, is appreciated. Welcome back, or welcome to the Taming Lightning Podcast. I'm Percy Eccles II. I'm the creator and host of Taming Lightning, as well as the emerging plasma tech at Pittsburgh Glass Center. Taming Lightning Podcast features a series of conversations to help expand our understanding of plasma and neon light, looking beyond its associations with novelty and sign making, and to explore the potential for noble gases as an artistic medium. The intro is Boost by Joakim Karud. Joakim is a Swedish artist who loves to produce chill and happy music, and does so for copyright-free use. Be sure to support his music by giving credit when used, subscribing, and or by donation. You can find him on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Hello, Lightning Tamers. This is episode number 28, and in today's podcast, we have American Classic Neons with Tim Takacs. And just in case there may be any concern, this podcast was recorded in early March 2020, prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you for your concern, and hope you enjoy the podcast. All right, so I'm here in, is it Elwood, or am I in
It's actually Elport.
Elport, they're very close by.
Real close, yep.
And I kind of took a scenic route here to get over to your studio. This is your main studio, or you would say your home studio?
This is the workshop. This is where we're bending everything.
And this is for classic American neons, right?
Classic American neons, yep.
Classic American neons with Tim Takacs. So, we were introduced through Matt.
Right.
And I finally made a phone call, and that's when I called you, and then we got together today to just meet up and see what's going on. And it's awesome getting to meet Hugh over there as well, who is a close acquaintance of Monty Hepburn, which is, this world's small. This world is very, very small. And I was really excited because you're close by, and also you're one of the few people that I've contacted here in Pittsburgh that does neon, that is had an interest in connecting with someone who's not working particularly in this profession and not, looking for, a job here. So welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Very nice to meet you today. It's been very interesting talks.
Yeah, bringing the light to a kind of a rainy day today, but that's Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, cloudy and rainy all the time.
Better than snow, that's for sure.
Yes.
So what's interesting is your background. So before you got into neon, which is, I guess we can call it recently, it was like last 10 years of doing neon.
Last 10 years, yeah.
What were you doing beforehand?
I was doing heating and air conditioning service.
Mm-hmm.
Worked at Steam Fitters Union shop, all around the buildings around Pittsburgh and all around the surrounding area. And I was doing this part-time. It just got to be overwhelming, getting more and more business.
So how'd you get into neon, though? How'd you jump from, heating and air conditioning to...
I was about 17, 18. I was doing auto body work, went to Votech for auto body. And seen the neon signs and thought, man, this is pretty neat stuff. So I ended up getting a VCR tape on it and watched that and checking it out. And then I went to go check into buying a system. And, in the early 80s, the stuff was very expensive to buy. So that kind of shot that down.
And then, so after that, you got into doing neon then. Where did that begin exactly?
I clicked beer cans and beer paraphernalia, everything beer related. And I was at a beer show, and guy was selling his system. He's getting out of it. Ended up talking to him, and we worked out a deal on it, and went and worked with his bender for about a year as a type of apprenticeship. Twice a week I'd drive to Peters Township and work with him and bring little pieces home at a time until we were ready to move everything at once, and we brought everything up here.
Mm-hmm. And then, so your training for neon, where did that really begin?
It was about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I was going down, like I said, twice a week, almost as like a year apprenticeship program. I was going down there and working with his benders at his shop and watching him bombard, watching him how he tears signs apart, how it's all put together, and getting that knowledge to get here. And after I got it here, I made a few mistakes too. It happens.
Yeah. What were some of the early things that you found very difficult when learning to work with neon?
Your larger tubing is definitely more challenging. You get into your 15 millimeter or your 18 millimeter. Most of the neon stops at 15. You start getting into plasma at the higher, 18 and above, so just the smaller tubing is a lot easier to bend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people, there's some people looking for the larger tubing. I know Tommy Gustafsson out in Sweden, and then
yes.
Nate Schaefer in Raleigh love the challenge of the bigger tube.
Large tubes, 18 mils and up, and 22. I see them on talking about it. I do have some of the 18 mil that was from the airport. Fred Neep did the airport job.
Okay.
When he got out and sold all his stuff, ended up buying a few things of his, and he had a big auction right there on the West End.
And when I called you earlier and last few times, it seems like everything's going pretty well. I'm a little surprised, but I shouldn't be too surprised at how neon is still very popular. It has a popularity that allowed for good business to happen. What kind of jobs have you been taking recently that kind of explore that?
A lot of old school. Guys are loving the look. I've done a couple funny open signs on Liberty Avenue. A guy has a store. He wanted just a sign that says junk. So we made one different colors in every letter. Went purple, blue, green, yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wanted an open sign, so we made an open sign that winks and his tongue sticks out on the O. So he just wanted something different. Me and my partner Hugh, we've been doing some nightclubs. He's been doing a ton of restaurants around the area. We're getting some different signage around locally.
Mm-hmm.
A microbrew Kohler Brewing opened up in Elwood City here, and I made a couple Kohler signs for him, and making him a brew pub is open sign that's going to go out on his front area. It's pretty good size, probably 4x8 sign, which is going to be nice. Always working with different beer distributors around the area, the master distributors, because their neons are breaking, and
yep.
Some of them actually are getting broke coming over on the boat. So you still have that business out there for neon. There's getting calls probably every day or so, somebody wanting something fixed or looking for a new sign. Which is kind of neat.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, it's good that you found something that you really love, and that you're finding a way to survive on it. Artists themselves find it, and then we have even younger generations coming into neon, and they're finding their ways to be able to continue this medium and continue practicing it.
Yeah, it seems like there's on some of the sites and stuff, people were talking about getting into it. In the beginner group we were in, you got your old guys that still seem to say, hey, there's a lot to this.
Yeah.
But there's still, I think it's growing again. It had its downfall when the LEDs come out, but I think it's coming back, and I think it seems to be working for me. It's only been 2 months I've been doing it steady, so. But you get lost in the garage. Get out here at 5:30 in the morning, and before you know it, it's midnight.
Yeah. And then also, do you work with anyone to install, or are you always hand installing these things?
I usually try to install them on my own. It's less breakage.
Right.
You know how to handle the glass. Every once in a while, you got to get somebody installed. We sent a few out to the movie shoot locally, and you get a phone call, 2-3 pieces aren't lighting up. So then it's like, oh no, then it's panic mode. So,
yeah.
It's always nicer if you can, but when you get on the union jobs, that kind of stuff, it's got to be done that way.
Yeah. Is there, this is combining a lot of the stuff you've done prior to neon with what you're doing now with neon. Is there any kind of professional advice you give for anyone who's working in this? Something that they should keep in mind if they're doing neon commercially?
You got to definitely understand the codes and know what you're doing with installing it and doing it properly, because you're talking high voltages that need to be respected, and follow good practice with your transformers and that kind of stuff. Most of the new transformers have the secondary grounds and that kind of stuff. They're pretty safe. When you get into your older stuff, if you're going into an old sign and reworking it, some of the stuff was done a little different, and you got to watch what you're doing. Definitely. Nice.
You've also you floated into the Neon and Plasma Facebook group. Do you also have a budding interest in plasma then?
The neons kind of consume me. I have probably 800-900 neons sitting around that need fixed.
Yeah.
So I always tell everybody I could probably work until I die, and I'll get them all done. And then I keep getting new ones to work on. And there'll be a guy who'll call me up. They'll bring 15 signs over. Or we'll get another call, say I'm looking for a big open sign somewhere, or big sign for my business. So it just keeps growing, and word of mouth is really the best sales. Yeah. Facebook seemed to help ads wise.
Yeah,
you know?
I definitely say the word of mouth is a very strong thing because we're oversaturated with advertisements and promotions already. That the only thing that can really connect to us is often someone else that recommends or talked about it.
Yep. I did notice that people call me up, say I was sitting around and looking, my neon just went out. Seen your ad on Facebook.
So it does.
They're here a couple days later. We're fixing them up. But yeah, it's I've tried the website stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do have one, and didn't really pull much for me.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, social media seems like everybody's on it anymore.
Yep.
And it really gets the word just quick and around different areas.
You know, along with all these different orders, I guess I'll call them. Is there a point where you have to make the decision to say no, or do you how do you manage having all these things? Is it necessary to keep one or two new stuff coming in, or do you often just kind of sit down and grind through things that are already on the table?
The small stuff gets you quick money. You know, you get a quick repair here and there. You're making $100 or so, and then your big jobs are going to take more time to put together. So, but the money's a lot larger at the end. You still got to pay your bills, just like everybody else. So, before I always relied on the other income as a steam fitter, so I didn't have to put the pressure on this. But as much stuff is sitting around here, I figured if I don't start doing it now, I'm going to be 58 years old. We got to do something with it, you know.
Yeah.
I've been collecting for 10 years, and it just kind of all fell my way pretty nicely.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you may get to that point, but right now I'm trying to take everything I can.
Yeah.
See what it works.
It has I've been in a few different neon shops, and it still has that same feeling, kind of same feeling my dad's tailor shop had. And it's just like you're going in, you're taking in some new stuff that come as bigger projects, but you're also filling in the moments that help you break between the big project and the simple repair.
Right. Yeah, you could usually pump a repair out 15-20 minutes, you know, from the table to the bench, burning it in. Where as you're working on the big one, you're bending out some pieces, you're bombarding one, burning one in, painting one out. So you try to just keep the flow going. You know, as one's cooling, because you can't go back in the fire too quick sometimes. Or you end up getting a double spot hot, or it breaks on you if you don't go in right. So try to work the time out to where you're getting 3 or 4 things done at the same time, and try to get things out, get them out of the garage, put them. A lot of the signs that are for customers go to the basement. Some are on the porch. But yeah, you try to get your time as much as you can, get as much done.
Is there any final notes you want to add for our listeners?
It's a really exciting thing when you take a straight piece of glass and make it say some kid's name and for a nightlight, or just to light up Christmas lights instead of going to the store, you make a bunch of stuff and put it on your porch, and you can say, hey, I made that, you know. And it's just amazes me every time I light something up. You know, it's pretty neat.
And the question I try to ask all my guests is there anyone that you would like to hear on the podcast?
Just some of the guys out there that you're seeing on the groups and stuff. I mean, some of the amazing stuff they're putting out there, just their knowledge and what they've seen, because you got most of these guys have been in the business for 30, 40 years, you know, and the knowledge behind them and stuff they've seen, and some of the intricate bending and stuff. But yeah, I'm really haven't thought about it, to be honest with you.
And that's understandable.
Yeah. It's been the last 2 months pretty well consumed out here in the garage.
Right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you for let me come out to your studio here and record for the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you for coming out, and appreciate nice meeting you and everything. Appreciate stopping up, and it was a little bit of a ride for you, but
not too bad.
So it was really nice meeting you, and we'll talk again.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
The outro is The Process by Lakey Inspired. Jordan, aka Lakey, is a Los Angeles-based artist with the goal of inspiring others to create by sharing positive music around the world. Thus, he works hard to produce music every week for copyright-free use. So be sure to support his music by giving credit when used, subscribing, and/or by donation via Patreon. You can find him on Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Thank you for listening to the Taming Lightning Podcast. I'd like to thank Tim Takacs for letting me visit his neon studio and for this conversation, and for introducing me to Hugh Elliot, who was also there working on some neon for local bars and restaurants. I hope to work with them soon to have some new neon made for the Pittsburgh Glass Center, so maybe something saying plasma on it, and talk about some future projects. I'd like to thank the Pittsburgh Glass Center for supporting me as a place of research and inspiration, and also the Plasma Art Alliance, where I have an access to a well of knowledge and connects me to some amazing and supportive people. If you'd like to support Taming Lightning, subscribe to the newsletter on www.taminglightning.net or follow on Instagram at Taming Lightning. Other options for support are donations through Ko-fi, spelled ko-fi.com/Taming Lightning, where you can donate for the price of a $3 cup of coffee. Links will be provided in the show notes as well. Feel free to share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, be safe, be healthy, and be strong. And I'll see you next time.